What is up, people? What is up, people? What is up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another Stadia live session featuring your boy. What's up, Ron Yeezy in the house? What's going on, man? So today we got two topics that I want to talk about. We're going to get into all that, but if you could do me a huge favor in advance, let everybody know that we are live. All right, hit that like button. Ooh. Didn't mean to do that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that good, tasty, good stuff that helps the channel out because we can't do this without y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. If my Chrome tab, y'all know the deal. I gotta go and I gotta wait till I'm live to actually do this. We are live. Let me see. And then I gotta spam the discords. We don't want the Stadia live session to look like that. 11:04. We got plenty of time today in between when I gotta pick up the missus. So I think we're making good time, man. We are making excelente time. But the game that y'all see on the screen is Far Cry 5 on Google Stadia. And that's going to be one of the topics that we bring up because it's kind of bittersweet. I'm happy that it is on the platform, but then I'm concerned a little bit. Excuse me, we'll get into why I'm concerned. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then, we had a doozy of a series of tweets going back and forth this morning, which is all fine. I love it. I enjoy the difference of opinion, diversity of thought. But man, oh man, MM2K pissed some people off today. Bars. Yeah, man. But what has to be said has to be said because I'm not here to make anybody feel good about their purchasing decision. I'm here for the unsuspecting gamer, the gamer that may not be aware of what's going on. I might see a lot of rhetoric and stuff being thrown back and forth, and they don't know which way to go to help them with their purchasing decision. I'm not here to tell anybody what to buy. I'm just making sure that everything is fully transparent, put on the table, and then I give my opinions based on that. But then regardless if you jive with my opinions or not, at least I put all the facts out there for you to say, okay, MM2K, I see where you coming from, but that's not my case study. I'm more into XYZ, but thank you for all the information. That's what we're trying to do. My job is not to be here to stroke anybody's mane to make them feel like that the piece of plastic that they bought was the right one for everyone. No. Y'all got me wrong. Y'all got it all wrong if y'all think that's what we're here for. All right, so what I want to do is I want to send this to Discord. Y'all know the deal. While we're trying to get that all set up, we got, and your mama knows. He says, what's going on, Stadia Dosage? Just chilling, man. Chilling like a villain. We got that sneaky Ray Sherrod in the house. We got the homie Heath Stevens in the house. He says the XSS is already underpowered and outdated. Cloud Gamer 201, he said, play some Far Cry today. I can't wait to do something myself. Hey, everyone. We got the homie C Pro. What is going on? It's waving high. And again, let everybody know that we're live. We appreciate it, man. We really appreciate it. All right, so what I'm going to do here, drop your links. Yep, we got to put that right there. Boop, 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 bang. All right, we got that. And we're going to go here and drop the link right there. Boop, 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 bang. And then last but not least, we're going to go here. Boop, 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 boop. Is this? Okay. Boop, 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 bang. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to go here. That was a bot. So my bot already puts that out there. So I ain't got to do that. But what I will do is now I will close Discord. And the last place that I'm going to send this to is to a couple of friends that I have in a DM. A couple of friends that I got in a DM. Send it to my friends. Boop, 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 boop. Bank. I'll throw in one more DMT. What the heck, man? What the heck, man? Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 bang. All right. Let me do this real quick because I'm catching the yeah, bro. Frank got homie Frank on Twitter's like, wow, file sizes are small as well. We'll see. Is it false? Well, I want to see. I want to see. We'll see. I want to see firsthand. All right. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I was just responding to something. Okay. All right, let's get the show on the road, y'all. So first and foremost, let's do this. Thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I love all of y'all. Y'all know I do. Um, let's do a little bit of spring cleaning first and foremost tonight on the MM2K video channel. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me find it. I should be more prepared, right? I would be better if I was more prepared. Let me find it. Oh, there goes the channel right here. So y'all, for those of y'all that may not know this, this is, well, now I have 3 channels. I'm running 3 channels. I don't want to say have because these channels belong to us. MM2K main gaming content. And I'll put, and what I'll do is, let me save this and put this right here. I have my main channel, the channel that I originated with is right here. And really, I should be sending this. Let me send this to the people because we're simulcasting to Facebook too. So let me send that to the people, the group people on Facebook. All right, and then we're gonna do something like this. Okay, so that's my main gaming channel. On that channel today at 8 p.m. Eastern, or what would that be? 5 p.m. PST, I think it is. I think that's 1 a.m. UK. If you want to stay up and listen to it. Sure, we'd be more than glad to have you. We thank you for your support. The Commission. It's our new show. It's our new general gaming show from PNTS. It the co-hosts are me, Project Storm, Snow Bunny, and the homegirl Tron. And all 4 of us, maybe I'm the least educated, but all 4 of us have roots in gaming. You know, I've been gaming for 30 plus years. Storm is the same thing. Bunny. Tron, I'm not sure how long she's been gaming. We didn't ask her that in the interview process. No, I'm just joking. But Tron is like, she is so well in depth with gaming. Like having her as part of this group, that when we talk about gaming, it's crazy. The stuff that she brings to us, the stuff that I wasn't even aware of. I feel so educated talking to her, man. So she's definitely an added bonus to the show. It's called The Commission, and what we do is we talk about general gaming stuff, right? And actually, I got a link to the show for our next episode. Our next episode. Oh, I had it. Where's it at? Home. Should have been scheduled. Oh well, they done did something. Just check us out on that channel and you'll get notifications. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. Definitely sub if you're not sub to the channel because we are going to be having more general gaming content where we're going to talk about the Xbox Series S and stuff like that again. I haven't done so as much, talked about the PlayStation or the Xbox because I'm going to be honest with you. In large part, a lot of the news is kind of silly. It's entertaining to talk about, but what I do on that channel is I take down the news that I think needs to be put in a proper perspective for the average gamer. Like there's a lot of noise that might be out there. Like people may be saying this, that, and the other, and you may be inclined to follow what the herd is doing. And if I got to sit there and say, well, hold on, grab you and say, oh, don't fall off the cliff like the rest of those sheep. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, here's the real deal. I'll bring it to the channel. We'll talk about it. Well, the thing is, folks, I got to be honest with y'all. Over the last couple of months, the talk has been real silly. It's been real silly. It's been about RDNA 3, RDNA 2, just stuff that really isn't going to tell the tale for you guys that are even listening, even the gaming nerds. At the end of the day, it's about the games. Like, what experiences are we getting at launch that are going to catapult us into a new era? Who's providing that? Who's doing the best at providing that, and so forth and so forth. And I don't want to talk about RDNA 2. I don't want to talk about the Bibble Watson and gigahertz, because as somebody that a former diehard for Xbox, I fell into that talk when I got my Xbox One X. Don't get me wrong. Visually, as far as fidelity, the best looking console I've ever had. But I was looking for more. Going into this generation, I was looking for more. That's why I was starting off on PC for those that follow my lineage. And then I went to the Xbox One, upgraded to the Series X, to the One X, and was just disappointed and went back to PC. And then I came across Stadia, and the rest is history. I talk about all that, though. I'm not going to go bloviate too much about this. I want to get on these specific topics about Stadia and a specific topic about the Xbox Series S. But I'm not going to bloviate too much about it. What I will say is that if you're not part of the PNTS Network Patreon, go to patreon.com. Here, I got to go find another link. You're going to want to go to patreon.com, because I got 2 pieces of content that are coming out. One is already out today. The other one is coming out tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I got to make sure I upload that. But go to PNTS Network Patreon at patreon.com/PNTS Network. And then you'll hear something that I do Monday through Fridays. It's called Lyrics to Go. And what the premise of that is every morning I go for a walk. I go for a nice 2-mile walk. And partly through that walk, I go and pick up my coffee, bring it back, and then, start my day, right? And during that, I generally would just be thinking about different gaming related topics, but I said, why just think them to myself and be mumbling to myself and having people looking at me weird and stuff on the street? And why don't I just go and talk to y'all about it? So if you want to get my daily thoughts on the latest gaming news, even on some of the silly stuff, you can go listen to that. And we provide that, pretty much every Monday through Friday. And we got other stuff. We got gameplay sessions, me and Storm's Risk of Rain. Oh my God, that's a great game. And we got some other stuff. I think me and Storm did the Division, the Siege, where you go through the 100-story building and stuff like that. Definitely check that out there. A Dollar and a Dream will get you the general content, the content where we're talking about just general gaming as a whole. But we got Stadia specific stuff, and that's part of our Stadia War Room package. That's going to be $3 a month. And we got new subscribers. I got to send out notices. I apologize. I have not forgot about y'all. I noticed that. Just had some technical difficulties actually getting to the Patreon. I thought we had got hacked or something like that. But nonetheless, with that all being said, thank you so much for the support. Support is growing. People is loving the content, and we love y'all for all of your support. So definitely check that out. Rome says, what game? What? People them. I think is that Jamaican? I don't know. I'm slow. I'm slow and I'm old. The homie Levon Casey, he says Series S is for the people that just want to play new games and don't care about resolution. You know what, Levon? And shout out to the homie Levon Casey, man. He's a content creator too. Check him out. He does general gaming stuff. He be rocking out with the broadband bullies, man. Check out his content. Hey, Levon, this is what I'm going to do, bro, because you the homie. And I thank you for coming through. I don't think you're a mod. Guess what? Guess what happened today? Guess what happened today, Levon? You are a mod. So I need you to drop your link. And we're going to do a drop your link session, later on today. We're going to do a full straight out drop your link session. Okay, before I talk and babble too much, let's get into what y'all came in here for. First and foremost, y'all said, y'all saw that. Stadia. All right. So here's the thing, y'all. Let me do this so y'all can possibly get like a better visual on what I'm talking about here. even though Streamlabs OBS isn't going to do it much justice because I'm on a weaker resolution. And let me move this. Well, let me know, y'all, if the open mic thing is too much in the way. All right. Now let's go full screen with it too. Let's go full screen with it. Bong. All right. So here's the thing, y'all. My favorite game of the generation, Far Cry 5, was stealth dropped on Stadia. And that was fantastic. And I know a lot of people were happy with it, and a lot of people picked it up. It was a great deal. You can get the ultimate version for how much was that, y'all? The ultimate version was $17.99 or something like that, y'all. That's a hell of a deal. Regularly, it's like 80 something. And then the thing that's crazy is this game, the base game is $11.99. The ultimate edition was $17.99. But if you go elsewhere, the base game was $60. So you're telling me I can get the ultimate edition of this game on Stadia for $17.99, where even the base game is over three times the amount of that. Right? I thought games on Stadia were more expensive. Remember, you know that about? See, that's why y'all see me on Twitter. For those that don't follow my Stadia content, that think I'm just doing a lot of capping, and then y'all be like, well, why are you doing all this, knocking people down and this and that? It's not because I'm trying to be negative because I want to attack people. People have an inherent need to belong. And that inherent need to belong is detrimental to those that come to the same platforms to get some knowledge, to get some information. And I am one that comes from a family that is technically endowed. Maybe that wasn't the best way to explain that. I'm sorry. Please don't cancel me. I promise this will stay PG. But technically endowed, like my brother, everybody in my family is into technical stuff. I'm probably the least technical person in there. Just so I wouldn't be too out of place, I learned how to put computers together about a decade or so ago, right? Just so I wouldn't be out of place. That being said, people come to different areas to learn, to get more knowledge on stuff, to help fine-tune their decision-making. And I come from a family that's all about computers and the spreading of knowledge and helping people grow. Like, we don't pound our chest and say, ooh, I know this. We always try to share the information that we get, right? So there's nothing that irks my family, and particularly me, especially because I'm the slowest one in the family. There's nothing that irks me more than to see people use a platform. When it was created and built, it was intended to spread information and knowledge, for it to be perverted and distorted to become a place for people just to belong because they needed their mane stroked. That's what social media has become. And I hate to be the old man shaking my fist at the window, but every now and again, like when y'all go argue about RDNA 3 and 2 and all that, no, but that's not concerning to the average gamer or the gamer that I'm speaking to, so I don't care about that, right? And anybody in their right mind knows that RDNA 2 and RDNA 3 and the Bibblewatts and the gigahertz is not going to be the tell-all be-all of them getting a great gaming experience. Okay. I don't mind y'all bloviating and making up stuff, doing all that stuff over there. But when it comes to general baseline facts, when people are off key and I know better, I interject. Why? Because I used to be that unsuspecting gamer that didn't know better, that was told stuff because the person that was telling me that had an agenda. Buy this because they want to validate their purchase. They're not satisfying the use case. And I'm referring to clerks that I've had to deal with in the past. They're not satisfying my use case. They've heard everything that I said of what I'm looking for, but they want me to buy that because they want to see their PlayStation or their Xbox grow in numbers. So they're telling, you know what I'm saying? And so forth and so forth. right? And it's time that at least stewards of the truth, like myself, even if we're outnumbered, that we try to take back some slither of social media, of the infrastructure, of the internet infrastructure. That we try to take a slither of it back for it to be a lane for people that just want to deal with facts. No patting on the back. No, please say something positive about my box. Please, MM2K. None of that. People that are looking for cold, hard facts. So that's why I do what I do. Now, with that said, I got to keep it real. Even though I love Stadia, I love it. It's changed how I game. Listen to my Patreon content. In my Patreon content, I talked about how I'm not going to go over everything because we don't have time because there's a lot of content there. I talked about how more recently the Xbox 360 generation was transformative. So it really like gave me a jolt, like boom, like, oh my God. It was transformative because of the type of games that we got and what we started to see consoles doing. So it was transformative. You only get transformative generations like that, every so often. But what you hope for is in the subsequent generations, they don't go too far backwards. And I think we're starting to see signs of that. Everything is about graphics. With that being said, it was so transformative, I wanted more. When the 360 generation was done, it still wasn't enough for me. The type of innovation that we were seeing. And then we go fast forward into this generation, it's all about the bibblewatts and the gigahertz. And at the beginning of it, I said, well, if it's going to be about the bibblewatts and the gigahertz, I might as well get me a PC. And I got me a PC, but then Destiny wasn't on PC. And that was my favorite game at the time. So then I went and bought an Xbox One. And I was fine with it. Picked up the Division as well. And then, but then I was like, I was starting to feel empty. And then I got promoted to this Xbox One X. I never buy a console at launch. I always wait some time. That's something that my family's always taught me. Don't buy a console at launch because the launch iterations of any hardware is always going to be the faultiest. Always wait like 3 to 6 months. I knew better, but I didn't. But and nothing's happened to my Xbox One X, excuse me. But I didn't wait. I got it at launch because I was told I was going to get 4K 60 gaming, all this stuff. The fidelity wise, there was no console that can touch it, but I was expecting more of that. I wanted them frames too. I wanted more consistent performance. Didn't get that. Didn't get the titles that I was looking for. So I went back to PC, right? The thing with PC though, is PC is a lot of maintenance. And unless you have thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars to just buy the best, to top the Titan and the i9 and get everything, you're going to be spending a lot of time optimizing. And then you find out, because there's 10,000 ways to skin a cat with PC, that you end up spending more time optimizing than you do playing the game. So then I was back at square one. And then comes Stadia. Stadia answered all those problems. I could get ease of playing the game when I want to because time was starting to crunch down on me. And I could play the game when I felt like it. Go up and down the steps. I didn't have to haul hardware with me. Or when I went down the steps to go kick it with the wife, I didn't have to say, oh, well, gaming time is over. Or I got to wait till she goes to sleep so I can go back upstairs. I didn't have to worry about that. I could take it with me anywhere I go. So I take my laptop, my phone, whatever, tablet, Android tablet, and continue the couple of clicks of a button, continue where I left off at. That was a great perk right there. That was helpful. But I got to be honest with y'all. The number one perk for me was the 60 frames per second. That was the number one perk for me, is knowing that, because I'm a streamer too. I stream Monday through Fridays on my Twitch channel. And just when I was trying to get the streaming thing rolling, then I started having problems with these poorly optimized PC games. And those that follow me see Cold Blood Sensei. That's my homie. That's literally my homie. Shout out to Lloyd. Yo, Lloyd, what's going on? Lloyd in the house, man. You got that? What was that? Burr Ripple? That Fred Sanford string, Shore Ripple. Is that what it is? Laurie Anderson with the Shore Ripple. It's an inside joke. Maybe if I got time, I'll explain it. But we were having a little bit of fun yesterday. Shout out to Lloyd and Stadia Cast in the house. But with that being said, I had a lot of fun with Stadia because of the low entry point of me streaming. And don't see when I talk about Cold Blood Sensei and then my homie Fatal Sherrod, and then there were some other ones that we all used to be on my stream, either playing together on PC or going back and forth. They would just listen to me doing my crazy antics and we'd have a good old time, right? Well, the reason why they hate particularly so much on Stadia is because I stopped playing on PC. You know, they're like, where's our MM2K at? Come on, bro. What are you doing? I'm like, go get a Stadia and you know, they're PC diehards. They're like, no, I need to install stuff on my SSD. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So they weren't having it. So that's why they're in here talking their junk. And that's why I say, you know, show them some love, because they're some of my biggest supporters while I was going through this midlife gaming crisis here, right? Stadia solved all that. And the biggest thing that it solved is, even on games like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, where I was struggling at medium settings to get 1080p 60, and I had just spent $1,300 on this computer, got a 2070 in it. To me, that was absurd. But Stadia eradicated all that. I'm playing 1080 60, which is a great resolution and a frame rate for a streamer, because again, that's what even Twitch captures at, 1080p 60. I was getting that out of Stadia, had that mode, and it solved all my problems. Right. And so I want to say the first 8 or 9 months, you know, we've always had, for the most part, except for Elder Scrolls and maybe these Square Enix games, we've always had a 60 frames per second mode. But now I got to be honest with y'all. Sham Pipple. Yes. Oh yeah. I love. Yeah. Absolutely. True story, Lloyd. I might as well share this with y'all. It's open mic. I can't tell y'all who. I gotta be very careful because this is how crazy my job is. I know people are gonna start tippity tapping and start looking. But somebody on that show, someone that was on that appeared on that show, is a direct relative of mine. That's all I can say. I'll leave that alone. I ain't give y'all no more context clues. But yeah, I love that show. Funny. Anyway, so now we're in the now, and now we're starting to see less and more and more games come out at 30 frames per second only options. And I get where, let me pause myself, because again, like I've had to tell people, I'm not here to stroke anyone's mane or to coddle a platform. I can't hold a multi-billion-dollar or trillion-dollar company on my shoulders. I can just only give you the facts and speak the real. And I'm only speaking for myself here. But one of the things that I'm okay with this platform is, if you can't do, see, Rome sitting there trying to get, hey, Rome, I'm not telling you. Rome, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. One of the things that I can't, that the main thing, numero uno on my list for why I went to Stadia, even though I have less games, why I want to play Far Cry 5 on Stadia opposed to my PC, opposed to my console because I got it on. I got Far Cry 5 everywhere. I got it on PlayStation, and I rarely play my multiplats on PlayStation. And my PlayStation 4 is exclusives, but it got plenty of, cool exclusives. Playing it, only being able to play this game at 30 frames per second hurts. I'm not going to lie. It hurts. As you can see right here, it hurts so bad that mid this stream, I'm trying different options. I'm like, there's got to be, why isn't there a 1080p 60 mode here? And not much, Hell Monkey. Hell Monkey says I miss whatever I miss. I'm explaining the Stadia part. And here's my thing that I caution Stadia for. And I want to caution y'all for too, because even though if this may be a silly topic for y'all, I beckon back to something that the homie Chase says. First, they came for the barber and nobody said anything. And then they came for the butcher. I'm butchering it. Speaking of butcher, I'm butchering it. But basically, if I don't speak up just because something doesn't affect me directly, even though I know it may be a problem or not, at some point in time, something is going to directly affect me. But we would have created this whole situation where, let's not say anything. Let's not even bring it up because we don't want any negative connotation. And that's going to be a problem for the platform. Platform got to get open, information. But I will say this, that I hope this is just temporarily. Like, I hope what's happening is, because it started with Serious Sam, that really concerned me. I'm not going to lie. Seeing Serious Sam cap out at 30 frames per second when Serious Sam is a Twitch shooter is concerning. Twitch shooters are not supposed to be at 30 frames per second. Then we had Baldur's Gate at 30 frames per second. Now, granted, it's early access. It's not the most optimized. I'm pretty sure the biggest PCs, most powerful PCs are probably having problems running it at a flat 60. Not worried about that one, but again, that's like kind of like I don't want to call like platform exclusive. So locked at 30. I mean, it's not really a big deal there. But I'm just throwing it out there because it happened. Now you got Watchdog Legions. Capped at 30. Like, where's the 60 at? Where's the 1080p 60? You know what I'm saying? Like, the 60 frames per second was a strong argument, even if you are just in an early access phase or whatever the case may be. But it was a strong argument to say, hey, look, regardless if polygon for polygon, we match the Xbox One X or the PlayStation 4 Pro, we still could give you great visual fidelity. We can give you great visual fidelity and performance on par with them at a fraction of the price. But if you're looking for pure performance and still good visuals, we got 60 frame per second modes for you. And those, my friends, those modes, consumer base, is better than what the majority of the consoles out there can do, which is the PlayStation 4 Slim and the Xbox One S. If you look at it, the majority of the consoles out there are those two. So another great bargaining chip or selling point for Stadia is, look, we got performance modes in combination with, graphic modes that either are on par with the most powerful consoles out there or just better in performance altogether. And not having those 60 frame per second modes kind of hurt. So I'm hoping, so here's two scenarios we got here. And I want to just throw this out here as a cautionary tale. Scenario number one is Stadia realized, look, it's all about what's on paper right now. We got to get these games out here. And the frame doubling technique. I mean, the way it was explained, it made it sound easy. I don't know. Lloyd is an expert in this technology. And I know Lloyd is probably like, who, me, the expert? Yeah, but Lloyd knows a lot about how this technology works. Maybe he can educate us per the chat. But the whole 60 frames per second thing, the frame doubling technique, I thought was an easy proposal. I thought it was a simple thing to do. I just thought that it was Square Enix with Final Fantasy 15. I was like, we don't feel the need in optimizing our game for this, so whatever. I just thought they were the outlier. But now as we're getting deeper and deeper into getting stuff day and date, it don't seem like that whole frame doubling technique may be as simple. Because it looks like we got to make a choice. Are we going to get these games more rapidly? Or do we deal with better performing games and they come when they come? And it's not the greatest proposal. So I'm just hoping that this is just a temporary thing that we're dealing with until Gen 2.0 comes, which I would presume Gen 2.0 would fix all this and we would get 60 frames per second modes. Maybe everything will, even the dynamic 4K will work at 60. But I'm telling y'all folks, and I'm gonna do a poll because I'm interested in knowing so we can give this feedback to Stadia, because I'm hoping with the answer, I hope this isn't a more long-term thing where they looked at some data and they figured, oh, well, you know what? Maybe 60 frames per second isn't as important. I'm here to let y'all know, at least at this stage of the game, where even though you're outpacing your competition in games that you're presenting in the first 12 months, your game lineup is still inferior as far as what it's presenting today. I can have the bullet points all I want, Google, and say, well, we're outpacing this one now. The average consumer don't care about that at the end of the day. That helps take away some of the venom that comes your way, but people don't think that long range. They're thinking Call of Duty is out. Can I get it on Stadia? Madden is out right now. Can I get it on Stadia? You know what I'm saying? Road Company is out. Can I get it on Stadia? They're not looking at pie charts and flow charts and saying, well, look, if you look at second quarter 2015, Xbox was only able to output 37 widgets. They don't care about that. They're saying, I'm looking at the docket of games that are coming next week. Road Company's coming out, such and such, you know what I mean? So if this sacrifice is going to lead to those games coming faster, then I can say that would probably not be the worst trade-off for the average consumer. I'm going to let you know it's going to be a hurt piece for me because I need the 60 frames per second. I need them. But again, this whole thing is bigger than just me. So if that's the trade-off, it's like in order for, okay, all right, guys, we realize we got to get we got to get these games faster on here in order for us to do it. Maybe they had a litmus where they said, well, you got to hit that 60, you got to optimize it. And maybe it was a little bit more challenging than what we thought it was. So here's what Lloyd has to say, which again, it's time to be educated. All right, now, quiet down, class. Lloyd says, Stadia renders 4K 60 on the blades, then compress the frames to whatever it's streaming out. Even play on a phone and LTE is rendered on the server at 4K 60, then compressed. He then says, devs do not natively support 4K resolution or 60 frames per second in their games, though. Everything is up-res and frame double if needed. That doesn't lead to better looking games, though. And he also says, the time will come that the cloud hardware will greatly outpace the games, but if the games have a hard 30 frames per second cap, okay. Well, then in that case, then I get, okay, Lloyd. Wow. See, this is why I love these open mic sessions, because we all get educated. I get you, Lloyd. Okay, so it's kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of like what Xbox is dealing with their backwards compatibility, why they're having issues getting games up to 30 frames per second, right? Or 60 frames per second, because they were capped at 30, and so then it would have to be recoding down, which ain't nobody gonna go back and recode. And then they ain't gonna go back in the Dania engine and say, all right, we're gonna recode Far Cry 5 just for Stadia during the middle of COVID. No, they ain't gonna do that. I got you, Lloyd. Okay. Makes perfect sense. And then he says resolution is not impacted by the number of Stadia users at all. But this is the big thing. The time will come that the cloud hardware will greatly outpace the games. But if the games have, okay, so we're looking at situations where the games, but so Lloyd, here's my question. We got to get an interview with Lloyd. And Bill too, if we can do it. I love tapping brains. I love, this is what you got to wake up people and say, what can I learn today? Here's my question, Lloyd, or anybody that's knowledgeable. We got a lot of knowledgeable people in this community. All right. And this is an open mic for all. But here's my question for anybody. I thought that these games being ported were the PC versions of the game. And therefore, the PC version of the game isn't capped at 30. However, now I'm answering my own question. I know because I have the PC version of Far Cry, because I got Uplay Plus, was soon going to be Ubisoft Plus. I do know, Lloyd, that for Far Cry 5, you can hard set the frames per second, because I know the performance, at least at launch, was wonky. So you can say, look, how do you want this to perform? You want this to perform at 30 frames, or you can actually set and hard lock and lock the frames in the game. So it sounds like to me that the Stadia port, Lloyd, was hard locked at 30 frames per second. Does that make sense? And he says, it's like if you put a turbo boost on a performance part of your Kia, at the end of the day, it's still a Kia. Exactly. I got you. And he says some game engines link timing to frame rate, so you can never increase them past 30. Many engines are old as blank and will break if yeah. And I had this conversation with Project Storm. I did have this conversation, and not that I didn't believe Storm. I was just going off of my knowledge of playing it on PC, but now I'm going through the options, and I wish I could boot it up for you guys. But no, Far Cry does allow you to lock the game at a certain frame rate. So going off of all the information that you guys are sharing with me in this chat, and thank you so much, Lloyd, that it seems like that they just locked us at the 30 frames per second. Because maybe they were having wonky issues with it at 60, which that kind of sucks. I wish they could do this. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Far Cry at 4K 30 looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. It looks good. I want to say it's like medium high settings, which is great. Far Cry 5 on Stadia at 4K is medium high settings. And when you put it on the 1080p, it's a locked 30, maybe a little bit above 30. I want to say like 30 to 40. But my thing is that I think with that performance mode, and it still looks great on the 1080 mode. My thing is that even if you can bump that down to medium, like 1080 medium, and have it run at that 60 frames per second, like I'm just hoping that when they're talking about porting these games, that the importance of being able to do 60 frames per second where they can is not being overlooked, because it is important. And five, I got a spiritual advisor in Clive Linden, and Project Storm is my psychiatrist, and Lloyd, I'll ordain Lloyd as the tech talk to MM2K for dummies. he breaks it down for me, so my feeble mind can consume it. But no, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lloyd. And thank you so much, Chad. I really appreciate that. But again, that's what makes these open mics so great. All right. So let's go to the chat, y'all, before we go to the last. Cold Blood says at some point they will charge you for man, Cold Blood. Hey, look, Cold Blood, I was talking about you earlier. Was your ears burning? I was talking about how we used to get down on PC, bro. I know, and I abandoned y'all. But you know what? I want to, real quick, as a little segue, I will say this. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with my PlayStation 5. Because I was going to come in here and I was going to say, hey, look, y'all, I was just going to sell my PlayStation 5 and power up my video card and whatever else I could power up to fully support Stadia 95% of the way. But then I started getting concerned with these 30 frames per second games. I'm like, look, man, if I can't get my 60 frames per second mode, I might be leaning on the PlayStation 5 a little bit harder. But what Lloyd said to me reassures me a little bit more. So I don't know. Again, my main reason for getting the PlayStation 5 at launch is, I got shot up. My main reason for getting the PlayStation 5 at launch was to get Godfall, because I hate the Epic Game Store. I hate it. And I want to stream Godfall. And I'm not going to be able to stream it at 60 frames from my 2070. I know that. Hell Monkey says, if I went onto Ubi Plus and downloaded Far Cry 5 on my PC, oh, yeah, bro. Well, it depends. I don't know. What are your specs, Hell Monkey? Let me know what your specs are. I have a 2070. I have an i7 8700K, I think it is. I got 32 gigs of RAM, and I got an SSD. I got like a terabyte SSD. I got another terabyte. No. I got another 350 gigabyte SSD, but that doesn't matter. That's just. And then I got a mechanical drive. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm working with. And yeah, you can do Far Cry 1080p 60. Lord Henderson said, "No way." He's talking about my relative. Yeah. I didn't know. Because I was named after them, because they were like our first family member that made it big. See, I'm talking too much. They were our first family member that made it big and was on a popular show. So I was named after him. Yep. And then then we just started having family member after family member after family member. I wish one day I'll be able to have that conversation with you guys. One day. It'll probably be sooner rather than later. He said, I have an Xbox Series X coming next week and zero plans to buy next gen games on the platform right now. Stadia satisfies my needs. Yeah. All I need is 60 frames per second option. If I know I can get that Stadia, I'm happy. I'm happy this game is on here, and I'm going to be streaming it a lot. I'm going to be streaming it this afternoon, as a matter of fact. And I want to do this, even though the bot puts the link out there. Please follow me. Please follow me on this channel. It's our new game stream channel. And that's the same footage that you see right now. You'll see it out there, our new Stadia game stream channel. Cold Blood Sensei, I know I'll be back on Twitch soon. Don't worry. I'm trying to figure, again, I want to But we working some things on Twitch. Might be doing a little rebranding. We've been thinking about bringing back one of my favorite podcasts. Really, is for general gaming news. We called it the NRO podcast. The New Rugged Order podcast. I love me and Nethos. Nethos is a great content creator, and he's blowing up on the scenes. He's a Halo content creator, part of Broadband Bullies. Definitely check out Nethos if you're into Halo. Let me see if I can find Nethos real quick. I'm okay. So let's do this. While I'm putting out here, it's link time. Put the links to your channels in the chat, and I'm gonna go look for Nethos while I'm doing that. So if you're watching, and if I haven't made you a mod, let me know so we can get you out here. Put the links to your channels in the chat. There goes Nethos. I'm going to subscribe to him. I wasn't subscribed to him on this channel. Whoa, he's already at 3. Whoa, my boy Nethos is killing it, bro. Nethos. Halo content. Oh, dang, that looked a little creepy the way I typed that. I'm sorry, y'all. But if you want Halo content, definitely check out Nethos' channel. Now, but drop the links to your channels, guys, in this. Coblet, now, I do want to address this, and I'm glad Coblet brought it up. He said, you saw the damn gameplay of PUBG. It looks horrible. I ain't lying when I say it's not enjoyable on Stadia. No, it's not enjoyable for you on Stadia. You're like I said, you're the outlier, because I can go to Project Storm's channel and show you footage of PUBG where he got 3,000 views, and that's the experience that most people are getting. What I said yesterday, Cold Blood Sensei, because I listened to it late in the day yesterday, is that what I said is you are not lying about your experience. I wholeheartedly agree that your experience is the one that you're experiencing, but you're the outlier. And you said that your ping was at 39. I had mentioned yesterday that if your GCP ping is over 35, you're going to experience problems. So that could be part of it. I said, definitely if your GC ping, if you're experiencing problems with Stadia, and your GC ping is over 75, it ain't gonna work for you. I in my mind. But I was saying that from my experience, if your GC ping is over 35, that's when you're going to start seeing hiccups. So it might be a matter of you, because the suggestion that I get from StadiaHelpCenter.com is when I did notice my GC ping was high, when I was having like a little bit of issue at one point in time, they said call your ISP. Lloyd Henderson said, Lloyd Henderson, I'm horrible at pronouncing names, said a poorly optimized game on any platform doesn't perform well on Stadia, you say? Yeah. But it's not just that, Lloyd. What Cold Blood is trying to do is Cold Blood is trying to equate his experience to everybody's experience on Stadia. And that's not the case. He's the outlier. He's experiencing what he's seeing. He's definitely, because I work with him behind the scenes on trying to get it fixed. He's seeing what he's seeing. He's not lying about that. But he's the outlier. Something going on with his network. Something's going on. Don't know what it is. But it's not an issue with Stadia. It's something with your network. All right, folks. So that's my thing. I'm glad we talked that one out. Thank you, Lloyd. I feel a little bit more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for explaining that. And now that I've talked it through, now I kind of better understand why it's at 30. I think what they did is they decided to lock it at 30, even though this may be the PC port. But it I want that 60. At the end of the day, I want the 60. And this is an older game, so it's okay. I wanted to bring this up because I don't want this to be the long-term trend. We got it. If you can work it out, guys, let's get them 60 frames per second on the game. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's at medium settings, it's cool. It's going to be cool. All right. Now let's go to a fun topic. Excuse me. Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S, there was a tweet that came out earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see. Let me see. If I can find the tweet. Dang, where's that tweet at? Oh, here it goes. There it goes. Okay. So, and I guess I'll put this on the screen. Let's do it like this. Let's do a little something like this. All right. I'm gonna stream. Let me change the screen that I'm sharing. Edit. Oh no, it won't let me do it like that. Okay. And then stop screen. Okay, then now I gotta go and do it all over again. Application window. Let's do this one. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. Y'all see that? Finally, right? The Xbox Series S reportedly has 364 gigabytes of usable storage space, according to oldcheer.com. Now, here's the problem. And I get it. Because people have been going back. I put out a tweet that said, I can't. I just can't. Now, I've had people respond, like my homie Neethles. He's trying to convince me that the file sizes are smaller. He said, Moss, the file sizes are smaller, or games files smaller on the Xbox One version. They're supposed to be compressing file sizes 30%. When it comes to Xbox, I'm sorry. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. You can't post articles with me with third parties saying XYZ. With that being said, if they are considerably smaller with the enhanced texture packs and all that other stuff, then great, fantastic. If I can fit Modern Warfare, all of its content, and I can fit an enhanced 2K21, the new generation version on there, okay, maybe you don't have much of a problem. But the purpose of this box, as stated, was for casuals to jump into the next generation of gaming earlier than they normally would. This was Xbox's way of trying to increase its saturation. And I'm sorry, Nethos, just as I promoted this channel, I don't want to hear, well, somebody said this. I have to see it for myself. And the reason why I say that is because this is the same company that via publications told you that 4K 60 would be the standard on Xbox. Native 4K, 60 frames per second, all games would be the standard. That was a lie. Then we had Phil Spencer come out and say, look, this whole thing about games, supporting multiple consoles, that's fanboy fodder. It's a lie. For only Phil to come out 2 months later and admit that he was lying when he said it was a lie 2 months ago. And so on and so on. And I'm not saying that Jim Ryan is, that he got a halo over his head. Oh no, Lion Ryan, you can't trust any of them, what they say. You got to see it to believe it. But here's what I do know. is that the Xbox Series X has 825 gigabytes of SSD RAM, more than enough for multiple games, even for 2 games for a casual, and even for some of the games that are in Game Pass, even though it's going to be a pain in the rear end to be moving games from a mechanical drive and all this other stuff. But again, that's still enough to suit a casual. The PlayStation 5, the digital and the disc version, have about 690 something. That's more than enough for a couple of games for a casual. And the digital edition is $400, only $100 more than the Xbox Series S. And you're not getting a bump down in performance, where the Series S is a considerable bump down in performance. You're talking about 720p in some instances on some games. And I feel that even if you are a casual, if you're a casual that wants to get into next generation gaming early, you're doing it because you want better looking games, right? Right? Exactly. You want better looking games. So I don't think that a casual would really want to get quote unquote better looking games, but would be happy still with 720p. You're going to have some better looking textures, but I think they're going to want better resolution on top of that too. And you don't want games dropping to 720. I mean, you still got games dropping to 720p on the Xbox Series S, right? So again, everything that we were told cannot be taken verbatim. That's from both PlayStation and Xbox. And now that we're talking about Xbox, we're not going to do the I'm gonna blame this guy or this and that. We're focused on Xbox right now. We talked about PlayStation when they lied about generations. We're not going to play that game. Xbox has Phil Spencer admitted that he lied about what he said that other people were lying before. I'm not taking any of this verbatim until I see it. I'm not saying this isn't tech that they are not working on, but I want to make sure that this technology is available at launch. And we don't know if this technology is going to be available at launch until we get it in our hands. Just like we had to discover at the drop of a hat that the Xbox isn't getting ray tracing at launch in a lot of games. It's getting it via a patch, downloadable ray tracing as downloadable content. So my message to everybody is, even though you may see all this, and again, this is all for the unsuspecting gamer, what is likely the Xbox Series S? What is your best user case for this? That's what I want to talk about. And I don't want to go to no article about anything. I want to go by what we know, what has been in someone's hands, and what they can confirm via their user experience, what it's capable of. And what has been confirmed is that, again, the Xbox Series X has enough space for casual to enjoy their 2 games, or maybe 2 games plus 1. The PlayStation 5, barely, but has enough space for you to enjoy your 2 games plus 1. You could do so with the digital edition for just $100 more than the Series S. But it's questionable with Xbox. We'll see when the console comes out. Now, with all that said, again, who is this console mainly for? The way I see it, who this console is mainly for is, let's just say if you are somebody that has like an OG Xbox, or if you have a Series S, if you have an OG Xbox, a Series S, and you're not a casual, say you're somebody that does normally buy stuff at launch, and you want to see a rendition of the next generation version of said game, like an NBA 2K21. Like NBA 2K21 is a completely different, version from the one that's on the 1S, right? As far as the character models and stuff like that, according to 2K. That may not be enough for a casual to make the leap, but it might be enough for, a core gamer or a hardcore gamer that want to make the leap. If you're okay and you're like, look, I really don't want to invest wholeheartedly into Xbox that much. I want to test it out, and I'm willing to pay $300 in order to do that. That's fine with me. And you're not looking for this console to be a long-term unit, I think you'll be okay. Now, another thing that you got to be careful of too is that they're saying that they're looking to convert this to a streaming box. Well, the streaming box is missing Wi-Fi 6. And unless you're hardwiring stuff, and dare I say, if you're going to hardwire stuff, if you're using a Cat 7 or a Cat 8 cord, it's not recommended to go over 6 feet because you start losing some of that power once you go over 6 feet. If you're not hardwiring this to your internet and you don't have Wi-Fi 6 and you want this to be a long-term streaming box, you might run into an issue. So as far as I'm concerned, for the general consumer, that I think you're safe with the Xbox Series S, despite all the rhetoric and despite me saying what I say about Xbox. I think you're safe with the unit as long as you're looking at, look, this is basically for the now. I want to dip my toe into the Xbox ecosystem for next gen and just see what it may feel like. That's what I want to do. I want to dip my toe into the ecosystem, just get a feel. I normally with PlayStation, or I got an older Xbox. Well, let me dip my toe in there. And what I will say to you is a year, maybe 2 years maximum, that box is going to become obsolete. Even as a streaming box, it's going to become obsolete. Unless you are going to hardwire your streaming. If you're not hardwiring your streaming, and again, to get optimal performance, if you're going to hardwire it, you got to make sure that you're at 6 feet or less from your router. If you're not hardwiring this, then what the Xbox Series S then becomes is something, like a disposable console. But I'm not saying throw it away. Trade it in. Upgrade. After a year or two, after you dip your toe and you're like, okay, now I'm comfortable. I like what I see from Xbox. I'm done with my disposable console, my test unit. Let me upgrade to the Series X. I caution you for those. Now, again, I know a lot of people personally that are doing this, and that's fine. They've already dotted the I's and crossed the T's and ran on the calculators and figured out. But again, if you're still on the edge, on the fence, I caution you to go and finance this thing. Because normally you finance something that's going to have long-term ramifications. This system, for all intents and purposes, is not going to hit the nail on the head for those that are looking for long-term satisfaction. Even converting it to a streaming box. It's missing the Wi-Fi 6. That's important. More important than a lot of Xbox people. They were laughing. See, here's what it was. Both PlayStation people and Xbox people don't understand the necessity of Wi-Fi 6 when it comes to game streaming. Right. And so the PlayStation people were just using it as red meat to talk crap on the Xbox, and the Xbox people were just laughing. Oh, Wi-Fi 6, why is that important? Because there's not enough news from their favorite YouTubers to talk about it. So their favorite YouTubers, or Phil Spencer, didn't say it was important, so we're going to laugh at it. So both of them couldn't be farther from the truth about the importance of this thing. Right now, for the unit, it's not important. But overall, for the console to become a streaming box, it's going to become a detriment in the long haul. So, what the hell did I do there? All right. So what I highly suggest for everybody is, again, if you're on the fence about this and you're looking to make a decision and you're like, I'm interested in what Xbox is doing, I want to dip my toe in it. Should I get the Series S? Yes, if you're okay with likely having to need to trade this thing in about a year or two. To upgrade. Even for a streaming unit. Because believe you me, in a year or two, Xbox will be having a dongle or a box or something that will be Wi-Fi 6 capable that you may want to stream, trade this in for, or something like that. Whether it's an enhanced Xbox Series X, an enhanced S, which I doubt, or just their own little dongle. I would definitely wait for that. And I also caution people that are on the fence. If you've already dotted your I's and crossed your T's and you said, this is for me, I'm not for you. You don't need to listen to me anyway. But if you're on the fence, I don't recommend financing this because, again, you normally finance things that you're looking for a long-term commitment from. And I don't think that this Series S is going to be worth it in the long term. I really feel in a year or so, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to look at this, look at the revelations of cloud gaming, looking what it doesn't have, or looking what they're not capable of doing. They're not going to be able to run a Cat 8 or Cat 7 with less than 6 feet or 6 feet or less. And they're going to say, you know what, I need to trade this thing in. I want to stay in the ecosystem, but this ain't going to do it. And if you're financing this thing for 2 years, right? Because I think that's how it works. It's a 2-year and you only get a year's worth of use out of it. That's not going to work. So, with that said, that's everything that I've had to bibble babble about. Let's take these last few moments to get the thoughts from the audience. Soundwave says you can get a regular hard drive, but you won't get next gen graphics and performance. You can only get that with an SSD. And I think Lloyd responded to that. You wouldn't be able to run a game from the cloud anyways. Use local storage and move next games around if needed. Let's see here. Okay, I see Soundwave and Lloyd. They're having a discussion, which is great. We love to see the participation in the chat. Y'all are the best chat in the world. He said, one console should do is allow people to rent storage in the cloud. That will be the answer to these expensive SSDs. Lloyd says, I mean, xCloud streams at 720p anyway, so that... Hey, Lloyd, don't do that to them, man. You got people mad at you, too. Don't do that. He said, I will never buy an S and will actively try to discourage friends and family from buying one for their houses, but Microsoft does the homework to see what the market needs. Yeah, I think what Microsoft did is they said... Because, look, Lloyd, we all know at the end of the day that these game companies know what each company's doing behind the scenes for the most part. Like, they knew that a digital edition of the PlayStation 5 was coming out, and they knew how attractive that would be. So Microsoft said, look, we're coming in from behind. How can we do something that might what can we scale back to have something that could quite possibly be more attractive at an entry level for non-atypical launch purchaser? Say that fast 5 times. Then the PS5 digital, and they said we can scale back this, that, and we come up with the S. And I get it. I get why they did it. They did it for business reasons. I'm just looking out for the consumer needs. And consumers don't buy electronics for like, oh, this is a throwaway console. They don't think about that. But I think with the Series S, they got to think about that. This is something that is meant to get you into the ecosystem. It looks very attractive, but I think when you get it in your hands and you start playing it, and as time goes by, as the months go by, the less and less attractive it's going to be. By, I would say, within a year, 2 max time, you're going to realize, hey, I need to trade this thing in. Soundwave says 1 terabyte hard drive at $219 is steep price as a casual. Today, you can get a 4 terabyte standard hard drive at $119 for GameStop. Most casuals will buy a Series X or a PlayStation 5 in about 3 years. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So Xbox is a joke. Better buy a Series X. Xbox S. No, Aminor, don't buy Xbox at all. Just build a PC. Lloyd says Xbox Series S will cap out at 1440p. Again, I would assume that the vast majority of users will only have 1080p anyways. If you have a 4K TV resolution, matters to you, and the Series X is your console. Here's the thing, Lloyd. I don't think a lot of people understand, though. Like Digital Foundry did some tests with Gears, as a matter of fact, and they found that it dipped as low as 900p, or no, 720p, I think, right? It dipped as low as 720p on Gears. This is the next gen console, so you might get some unstable performance here. It'll have the upgraded texture packs. It'll have the upgraded versions. The cool thing is you'll be able to play the upgraded versions, the next generation versions, the versions built from the ground up for this upcoming generations on the Series S. That is definitely the perk. But as far as performance is concerned, I just don't know. I see casuals if they got an S or if they got an OG Xbox, maybe saying, you know what, maybe it's time for me to upgrade it. That's it. But then I hear that they're hard to get. This first batch they're definitely sold out. They're definitely sold out. Lloyd Henderson also says Call of Duty download on Series X will probably be close to double the download on the S. Textures, exactly. Yeah, and that's why I said that I don't want to take verbatim this Windows Central story. I got to see it because we don't know. Is this going to happen at launch or what? JXR1, my homie, he one of the people that's been battling me on Twitter. He says, but MM2K will never say that the PlayStation 5 will only have 670 gigabytes of storage is a problem. Only Xbox has a problem. Double standards. Now, I don't know at what point of my rant you posted that. I clearly said that the Xbox Series X is fine, that the PlayStation Digital Edition and the disc version is fine for the casual. And on the digital edition, you can squeeze your 2 games on there, your Call of Duty and your what's it called. But anything below that, it is what it is. I'm sorry. And again, this caters to the whole mantra. I get you like Xbox, and this isn't just for the homie JXR. I get that y'all like Xbox and y'all tired of Xbox being said this or said that about it. I'm not here to stroke Phil's mane. The fact of the matter is that the Xbox only has 364 gigs of RAM, the Series S that you can operate with. And as I showed you on Twitter, JXR, that's not enough to hold 2 of the biggest games out there, the games that the casuals are normally going to buy. That's going to be a problem. It's not my job to sit here and spin it. Just like it's not my job to spin it for Stadia. When I sat here earlier for Stadia, my preferred platform, and said I got a problem with these games coming in at 60 frames per second. It's not my job. But I know Xbox appreciates your love. Cold Blood Sensei says, you saw the dad gameplay of PUBG. It looks horrible. I ain't lying when I say it's not. Oh, no, I read that earlier. What else we got here? Cold Blood says 670 gigabytes is not confirmed. You all right, Cold Blood, but I think I think that cake is baked. I think we know what it is. Yep, Charles Ray said, did you see that Stadia is supposed to be getting AV1 support? And that is true. Yep. Absolutely. And that's awesome because that increases the efficiency. Lloyd says, what's the percentage of gaming public that are going to be running these consoles only have 30-inch TVs anyway? Not everyone needs or cares about 4K right now. And that is true. And hence why this has been my argument, Lloyd. Hence why I wasn't convinced that outside of this initial batch that the Xbox Series S was going to sell gangbusters. Because you can blame the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, casuals who this console was already designed for already went out and bought a gangload of consoles. You can't find a console anywhere. They've already bought their console. And I don't think that it's going to be compelling enough after this first initial launch batch to the average consumer to say, well, yeah, let me upgrade to this because they say it caps at 1440p or, like those Digital Foundry videos, even though it's for us, the Nerd Babble, they have their ways of filtering to IGN, and IGN is going to put it in its layman's terms, and then the casual is going to see it because casuals do go to IGN from time to time when they're looking to make a purchasing decision, like such, and they're going to say, okay, well, maybe I'll just stay with the one that I have. So that's the question, and we'll have to see. I don't know for sure, but I have my doubts that long term that the Series S is going to sell like gangbusters. I know every single console that's available is going to sell out at launch. No question about it. But again, the Xbox Series S's Xbox Series S's long-term longevity rather is what I question. All right. Okay, this is a bumping chat, man. I love you guys. Says you could get a regular hard drive, but won't need the next graphics and performance. You can only get that with an SSD. Yeah. He says, but they let you upgrade it to a Series X. Now you're talking about the all access? Yeah, if you can, if they let you up, but see, here's my thing. Here's my thing, Ro. If they let you upgrade it to a Series X, and for sure, like if your decision is, I know I want to dip my foot into next generation. Normally I wouldn't buy a console at launch, but I'm really interested in what's going on. And I don't know if I want the S or the X. I know I'm going to want one of those. So let me dip my foot in the pool early. In that situation, Rome, you're 100% right. I think you can still do the all access program and upgrade. But if you're one of the people that are like, this is interesting. I normally don't buy Xbox. I'm interested in seeing what they're about. And there's a large possibility that you may not like what you see and you may just revert back to PlayStation. I wouldn't do that all access program. I wouldn't do it. It's the all access program is only for people that know for sure that they're going to the next generation Xbox. You know for sure. And you normally want to do it early enough at launch. But, things restrain you financially. Then I would say yes. But if you're on the fence, if you're like looking like peeking around the bush, looking, you're like, I don't know. See what this Xbox thing is about. I don't recommend it at all. And that's just common sense. You know what I mean? Couple more. Lloyd said a bud who works at a local huge gaming store chain said that their allotment is 2.5 to X for launch. Yeah, I know they were very light at launch. So I don't know. And this is I feel the same. S will be for the budget minded people, but it's not a good piece of tech for the hardcore. And then Charles Oran says, speaking of COD downloads, how often do Call of Duty games come out? It's every year, like sports games or Just Dance. All right, y'all. I got to go pick up the wife. We had a great session. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I love these. We got educated today. So that's always a great thing. And like I said, we'll be here later today with let me see here. With our new show, The Commission. Subscribe to MM2K Gaming Content Channel and MM2K Videos. We are at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or at 5 p.m. Pacific. And even if you don't catch us live, even though we're taking live phone calls, y'all. We're taking live phone calls. So if you're familiar with SML, you not only have me and Storm that you could tap our brains, but you got two knowledgeable ladies, Snow Bunny Gaming and Tron. They really know their stuff. And Snow Bunny Gaming is our Nintendo connoisseur. She knows everything about Nintendo. I think Lloyd will appreciate that. She loves her Switch. She refuses to get a console. And I love it's a beautiful thing to see her and Project Storm mash it up, because Project Storm is the technical wizard of everything, and Storm and Bunny's just not having it. They go back and forth. They also got a show together called on Sundays that's called Yin Meets Yang of Gaming, and it is based off that premise that everything's got to be top 4K, the best frames for Storm. Bunny ain't worried about that. She's worried about the gaming, the core gaming experience, and they go back and forth. I love it. It's a great dynamic, and them two are fantastic together. But yeah, definitely check out the show. I know, hey, Cold Blood, even though it's 1 a.m. where you at, bro, just watch it on demand, man. I appreciate it. Said 8 p.m. is too late. I know, man, but people, hey, look, everybody don't have the luxury of me to work from home and let my job think that I'm doing. Hey, look, this is why I'm not available on weekends. I have had the flexibility to work from home, and I can crutch and do everything on the weekends. That's why weekends are so hard for me to do content, But as long as I crutch and get everything done by Monday, I'm good. But with that said, hey, thank you, everybody. Got to go pick up the wife. So until next time, we'll see you later, 8 p.m. Join us or check us on demand. And also tomorrow, don't forget, SSC Podcast. Me, Project Storm, the homie Eddie, Player One. He about to hit 1,000 subscribers, man. Woo! Check out all their links below in the description or in the comment section. With that said, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. Love you. Hey, one more question. Hellmark, you trying to get me in trouble. You trying to get my wife to beat me up. Shadows just announced after 5 years they've reached 100,000 users. Do you think it will take Stadia less? Oh, whoa. Hell Monkey. Don't be confused, my friend. Stadia has surpassed 100,000 users. They have well surpassed 100,000 users. Now, I think active users, I don't know. I mean, if I had to throw in, I'll put it to you like this. And I hate doing this because then I'm always like, I can't tell y'all these stats, but I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble, and I got to be real careful about this because how I came across this. At one point in time, Hell Monkey, Stadia was seeing upwards of 25,000 new signups a day. Upwards of 25,000 at one point in time. 25,000 new signups a day. they're well beyond 100,000 users. Now you're talking about, if you're talking about active users, I don't know how many active users they have. I'm beckoning to say that month to month, it's over. I think it's over 200,000. Just some numbers that I've been crunching. I think it's over 200,000. What y'all got to remember is that with Shadow and GFN, even though GFN has more users than Stadia, definitely because of the free tier, but that's not sustainable for them. So y'all gonna get me beat up by my wife. GFN and Shadow are tethered to other platforms where they're catalysts, where Stadia is its own platform. So we don't know how many people are using Shadow. There could be only, Shadow can only have 100,000 people, right? And Stadia has way more. Like I said, I can only say, I gotta be careful. Stadia looks like it's on par as far as users that have come to the system altogether. Look like they're about to outpace the OG Xbox. That's all I can say. I gotta be careful. That being said, what we gotta understand is that they don't experience the problems with the user base because they're connected to the PC user base in totality. So don't let the fact that we have multiplayer matchmaking issues, don't let that fool you. Stadia is definitely pulling in more people than Shadow. Definitely. But with that said, appreciate the question. It caught my eye right before I left. All right, now I got to get out of here. Lord Innocent, thank you very much. I appreciate you, my good friend. And with that said, everybody, you have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.